What up, peeps? It's your boy, the host with the most. Welcome to another edition of Just My Opinion podcast. Wow, man, I am furiously giving you guys this knowledge. All right, I done did like three. This will be my third live stream in the past couple of hours. I did two yesterday, and I'm doing this one today. And I want to apologize. Haven't been catching up on Laker news, but nevertheless, I'm the best. Let's get into it, okay? So there is a report that suggests that Anthony Davis and LeBron James are pushing for a trade. Are encouraging management and ownership to immediately trade Russell Westbrook. And this comes off the heels of them playing the Indiana Pacers. Russell Westbrook struggled shooting wise and was benched in the fourth quarter. And there are accusations out there that suggest that Russell Westbrook, when he was benched, he stayed and left a little early off the court and left the locker room before any of his teammates got there. I want to address that first. And all I'm saying is, if you're going to get upset at Russell Westbrook leaving the court early, leaving his teammates and coaching staff early to go to the locker room to get dressed, and when everyone gets there, Russell Westbrook is nowhere to be found. He's already at home, and he also skipped the press conference after the game. If you're trading him because of that, then I feel like that's a pattern of behavior that was allowed and accepted by upper management, ownership, and the coaching staff, because LeBron has done that earlier in this season. LeBron has a knack for doing that. Now, LeBron could pretty up and say to you guys, well, the reason why I left early and skipped the press conference, you guys wouldn't have liked what I've said. But it would have been authentic, and that's the professional thing to do. No matter win, lose, or draw, there's no good excuse or no good reason why a player should skip the press conference, because you didn't skip the few press conferences that you went to when you guys are winning. So why are you skipping the press conferences on the losses? So that's a pattern of behavior that Laker management has allowed for LeBron James to do. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, he deserves that. He earns that. He won a title for the Los Angeles Lakers. Not to mention, he's a world champion. So we're going to allow him to do that. And if you want to use that narrative, that's fine. However, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you allow one person to do it, other people are going to assume and insinuate, well, I can do it as well. But that's neither here nor there. But I just wanted to address that first. So another thing I want to address, they also said on several publications and on several networks that upper management is giving Frank Vogel the blessing to finally coach this team. We're darn near almost into the middle of the season, and now the superstars of the team, which is LeBron and Anthony Davis, upper management, Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, finally gave Frank Vogel the blessing to actually coach this team. And I want to say, let's do a clap for them. I mean, this is something that should have been embedded since day one. And this is another reason, one of the reasons I stated that why the Lakers are struggling. They have a power issue. They have a coaching issue. Not the type of issue that they don't have the right coach. Is that the coach does not have is not encouraged or not given the permission to properly coach this team. If anyone knows anything about basketball or anything about Frank Vogel has always been a defensive-oriented coach. The past two off seasons that the Los Angeles Lakers done thus far, all of those acquisitions, how many of those acquisitions equaled a Frank Vogel type of player? Montez Harrell, that's a defensive type of stopper, right? Carmelo Anthony in his later years, oh yeah, he's going to work wonders under Frank Vogel because he's a defensive guy, right? When you look at the acquisitions that the Los Angeles Lakers have done thus far, oh, and let's not forget Russell Westbrook. None of these acquisitions requires, oh, this is a Frank Vogel guy. He's going to play defense first, and that because that's the type of player Frank Vogel is very successful with. If you look at the time they won the championship, everyone wants to call it the bubble. I feel like all championships are the same. But at the end of the day, all championships are the same. But at the end of the day, they deteriorate 3 times as fast. Meaning, yeah, we give you your love when you win the championship. We give you your love and your blessings when you defend the championship. But then after that, we're moving on to the next thing. And that's why a lot of people don't appreciate championships in this era, because back in the day, championship teams will win multiple titles. Championship teams will win multiple titles. Championship teams will win back-to-back championships. Championship teams will win back-to-back championships. The championship teams just don't win one title, and then you don't hear nothing from them for the next 3 or 4 years. It doesn't work that way. That's why championship teams in this era are not appreciative. We don't respect them. The last championship team that we respect in the past, I want to say 10, maybe 15 years, have been the Golden State Warriors, the San Antonio Spurs in the 90s, and the Miami Heat. Those teams have won, and they in this era, with the players that we have, those players are still playing, and those are the teams we respect. Why? Because those teams have dominated more than 1 year. And now when you look at the Los Angeles Lakers, people don't forgot that they won a title a couple of seasons ago. The Milwaukee Bucks won the title last year. And we're slowly forgetting that the Milwaukee Bucks have won a title. If the Milwaukee Bucks do not defend their title this year, we're going to move on to the next hotness. It's amazing how the Milwaukee Bucks won the title last year, but the only teams that we talk about and promote are the Los Angeles Lakers because of the acquisitions that they made in the offseason that everyone said that was a complete mess of a gumbo. The Brooklyn Nets with their big three. This is definitely going to be the year where the Brooklyn Nets are going to win, right? And you talk about the Philadelphia 76ers drama with Ben Simmons. But other than that, nobody has big up the Milwaukee Bucks, even though they won a title last year. That's why I said all championships are created equal, but they deteriorate 3 times as fast. We seem to forget who won the championship a season ago. But I digress. Let's move on to this article. So they're pushing for a trade for Russell Westbrook. And I've said in multiple live streams, I said it on social media, I said it on multiple videos. You can wish whatever you want. You got what you deserve. You guys campaigned, and when I say you guys, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now, Chris Bouchard said last week that, well, it wasn't like LeBron James was the frontline leader of campaigning to get Russell Westbrook on his ball club. It was really upper management that wanted Russell Westbrook, and LeBron they threw the idea to LeBron James, and LeBron James said he's cool with it. It really doesn't matter if LeBron James thought that Russell Westbrook would be a fit, and let's go ahead and make the trade, make push for that trade, or upper management thought that was a good idea, and they asked for LeBron James a stamp of approval for it, and he approved it anyway. LeBron James has to take some responsibility for encouraging them to trade Russell Westbrook. The same way like upper management, Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss. All of them deserve a huge slice in the blame pie. No one is exempt, and no one was innocent. Particularly when the Los Angeles Lakers could have made a better basketball decision to get talent on that roster. Alex Caruso, they couldn't keep Alex Caruso because they just did not have the money for Alex Caruso. So Alex Caruso went to Chicago because Chicago could pay more. So they couldn't get Alex Caruso. They was desperately seeking Susan to trade Montrezl Harrell and Kuz, and they found a partner with the Washington Wizards, and that's how they got Russell Westbrook, which I told you initially that was not a good trade. If push come to shove, I rather kept Montrezl Harrell because he had a player option, and he would have opted into that contract because there was no suitors for Montrezl Harrell because he lost. He's never going to maximize his potential as far as contracts. Okay, his biggest contract he could have signed was a couple of seasons ago when he could have signed a max contract with the Charlotte Hornets. He turned that contract down to garner the purple and gold and to one up Clippers organization when the Clippers organization could have maxed out Montrezl Harrell under the bird rights, but they decided that's like rewarding somebody that just did not get better. Montrezl Harrell did not get better. So why are you going to give him max money if he's never shown that he's getting better in the areas that he's weak at. Plus, he was a malcontent with the Clippers. He was starting to be a problem with the Lakers. And now he's a problem with the Washington Wizards. And now the Washington Wizards want to trade Montrezl Harrell. So Montrezl Harrell's never going to ever get that money back that he lost, because the only fools that was willing to sign him to a max contract was the Charlotte Hornets. Now, I guarantee you, Michael Jordan and them going, whoo, we almost made another mistake. Whew, glad we didn't max him up. But I felt like they should have traded Montrezl Harrell and Kuz for Buddy Hield and some pieces for the Sacramento Kings. They would have gotten younger. They would have gotten better defensively, but they would have been limited offensively. That's the drawback of orchestrating a trade like that. Now, the Sacramento Kings wanted a little bit more. And the Lakers was going like, whoa, wait a minute. We have to give you more for Buddy Hield and some pieces you guys don't want. I mean, we're giving you Montrezl Harrell that has proven that he's not that guy. And we're also going to give you Kuz. And Kuz has proven that he's like a light switch. He's on when he's hot. And when he's not hot, he's extremely off. So we're going to give you our problems. And also, we done paid these guys almost to the max. And that's what the Sacramento Kings were looking at. They're looking at, look, yeah, it looks like you guys are giving up more, but in actuality, we're not getting anything back from this trade. If anything, Kuz might be a player that we can utilize every once in a while, or, every few games. We might look up and get the Kuz that can score 40, or we can probably get the Kuz that's going to probably score 15. And Montrezl Harrell is an undersized defender. Can't put him at the 3 because he does not have a perimeter game. He's a 4 guy. He's on the 4th spot, but his defense is limited, and a lot of 4s and a lot of 5s are going to have their way with Montrezl Harrell. So the Lakers did not look at the advantages and the disadvantages of their garbage. They were looking more at the advantages and the disadvantages of the Sacramento Kings garbage. And I feel like out of all that garbage Sacramento was going to give to the Lakers, at least Buddy Hield is a decent defender. He may not be a great shooter, but he's young, he's lengthy, he's athletic. So that's what, when you trade, you're giving up. I mean, if they would have done that trade, essentially they would have gotten a little bit younger. Instead, they chose Russell Westbrook, who has $40 million this year. $30 million this year, another $40 million next year. I heard a lot of people talk about, well, they can easily trade Russell Westbrook this year. All they have to do is trade him back to the Houston Rockets, and in return, they get John Wall. And to that, I say this: why would the Rockets trade for a player they just had in their organization, and a player that has 2 more years remaining on their contract? And I'm going to trade you that player, and I got to deal with him for not this year, but for next year as well. And in return, you guys are going to trade, and I'm going to give you guys John Wall, which his contract is going to be up at the end of this season. And look at all that salary cap room we keep by just keeping John Wall. We don't care if John Wall wants to play. That has nothing to do with us. If we keep John Wall for the remaining of this basketball season, he's off the books. And look at all the cap space we're saving by just staying in place. So I didn't understand why people thought that the Rockets organization was that stupid to trade John Wall. They're going to give up John Wall to the Lakers And in return, they're going to get Russell Westbrook, who had 2 more years remaining on his contract. It made no sense. I told you this in multiple live streams and in videos and on social media. The Lakers are stuck with Russell Westbrook. They have nothing on their roster trade-wise that can make them a little bit better, a smidge better. That's why you keep hearing rumors about the possibility of Dwight Howard being traded. But what you're going to actually get from Dwight Howard, it's not going to be a difference maker. It's not going to be a player. It's not going to be an upgrade if you do trade Dwight Howard. They're going to trade you their trash, and you're going to give them your trash of Dwight Howard. Then you kept hearing reports of them trading their other players, the others, which has proven that their value, their stock has went down. The only thing other teams would want, and this is not a possibility, the Lakers are never going to trade these players away. I'm just telling you, the only 2 players other teams would want is a LeBron James or an Anthony Davis. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just telling you that's the only 2 pieces other teams want. Other teams are not going to help you dig yourself out of this hole. You're below 500. You're desperate. They're not. So you're going to have to add a little bit more if you think that making a trade is going to get you better and get you above 500. The other teams in the league know your limitations and your problems. They're not going to help you out of this hole. Then another rumor is, well, Frank Vogel is day to day, is game to game. He may be the coach of the Lakers, or they may fire him. All I can say is, if they get rid of Frank Vogel, and I forgot the name of the assistant coach, LeBron endorses him. But remember when Frank Vogel was in COVID protocol, I forgot that coach name. He was the acting head coach. What was their record when they had him? They was doing worse with him than Frank Vogel. But somebody has to take the fall. So why don't we just put all the blame on Frank Vogel, which he had no power, no control over free agent acquisitions. He has no power, no control on limiting Russell Westbrook's minutes and touches. He has no power, no control over LeBron James chasing stats. You ever notice when LeBron James chases stats and when he comes to a milestone and he achieves that milestone, the team ultimately loses? That's the reason why Magic Johnson took to social media and said that Jeannie Buss deserves better. He basically, and I'm paraphrasing, the team has already quit. They're not even coming to the game with putting their best foot forward. There's going to be problems. There's already internal problems in the locker room. There's all they just put a button on finally out of, we're darn near in the middle of the season. Now they're giving Frank Vogel the blessing to actually control the team, actually coach the team, actually have some control of the team, actually finally giving him and allowing him a backbone. Because you got to, with these Los Angeles Lakers, you got to come to them with kid gloves. You can't ridicule them. You can't tell them the things that they're doing wrong and the things that they're not doing, because you don't want to fracture anyone's ego. You don't want to touch anyone's sensitivity. There's no scenario where a team would want Russell Westbrook. None. Absolutely none. The Detroit Pistons don't want Russell Westbrook. No one wants Russell Westbrook. There's a reason why Russell Westbrook, this is his fourth team in 4 years. Generally, good players don't get traded that much. Above average players do not get traded that much. Superstars never get traded that much. But players that's on a down decline with an expensive contract, yeah, they get traded often. And the only way the Lakers are going to be able to get out of this if Russell Westbrook wants to take a buyout. Good luck with that. Why Russell Westbrook would take a buyout? He's going to get his money regardless. And Russell Westbrook, does he look like the type of individual that would think of others before himself? Russell Westbrook looking at it like, I'm getting my money this year. I'm definitely getting my money next year. And I'll be looking for another team when my contract's up. If there's no team out there that wants me, I'm going to do the Antonio Brown. I'm just going to do jumping jacks and piece ups and throw my shoulder pads into the stands and just leave the NBA, because I don't need a championship to prove that I had a great career in the NBA. He already done illustrated that to you guys. But he has always said that throughout the years. So I don't understand why Laker fans see this as a surprise. So there's no there's no quick fix for the Los Angeles Lakers. There's no magic pill that they can swallow and all this will be gone. There's literally nothing the Lakers could do to get better. They're going to have to, the only way they're going to get better if they will have to work within. Maybe letting Russell Westbrook come off the bench would probably help some. Maybe having the right players, instead of worrying about chasing stats and padding your stats, maybe putting the right 4 players to complement LeBron James as far as winning basketball games instead of padding stats. How about that? I think that'll help. How about instructing Anthony Davis that, dude, you're a center, you're a 5. I know you want to be a wing. I know you want to be a 3. I know you had a growth spurt in your high school and college days, and you really think like you're a forward. You're not a forward, my guy. You're a center. We're going to have to ask you to stay under the paint a little bit more than what you're doing right now. And yeah, we don't, every once in a while you want to hit a three, but we're not going to put that in on your resume that you're going to shoot like 8-9 threes a game. Those days are over. We need someone to be at the anchor. You're the tallest, most athletic, youngest individual that we have on the roster. We're not going to put DJ at the 5 when we know we have you. We're not going to put Dwight Howard at the 5 when we know we have you. Okay, LeBron could, we tried the experiment with LeBron James playing the 5, but deep inside, LeBron James cannot play that position, even at a smaller lineup. Now, every once in a while, we'll do some trickeration like that to make it a smaller lineup, but we're not going to start the game with LeBron James playing the 5 and you're playing the 4 or the 3. No. So these are things that's going to have to happen internally. People are going to have to wake up and swallow their pride a little bit and say, okay, I wanted to do this. Unfortunately, we can't do this. So I need to contribute to the team as far as winning multiple games. So I need to change what I'm doing. And that's what's going to have to happen. I feel like you're starting to see a start of that new beginning. Upper management and Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka gave the blessing to Frank Vogel to coach the team how he see fit. That's one thing. Number two, LeBron James apologizing and saying to the world, we're going to get better. That's another reason. I feel like when Anthony Davis come back, LeBron James and the coaching staff, Frank Vogel and upper management is going to have to tell him that you're going to be our five for here on out. You're our best. You're our best opportunity at the five spot. It's not DJ. It's not Dwight Howard. We can't make trades to get a younger player who wants to play the five. You're going to have to play the five. You're going to have to stay down at the low post. Occasionally, we will reward you with maybe a spot up three, but that's not going to be on the radar. That's not even going to be on the resume. That's what we're going to have to do. And we're going to have to put the right starting lineup that's going to play defense. We can't put a starting lineup to build stats for individuals. We have to put the best starting lineup to win multiple games. And there's hints out there that suggest that Russell Westbrook is going to come off the bench, which is a good thing as well for the Los Angeles Lakers. Folks, it's not that hard to figure this out. People are going to have to wake up and face reality, swallow their pride and their ego, and say, look, this is what I'm going to have to do to contribute to the team as far as the team winning multiple games. And then once we win a multiple games, once we get on a couple of winning streaks, then we can talk about the possibility of the postseason. But guys, if you look at the standings, the Lakers are theoretically still in it. They're still in it. They're below 500. They are still in it to get a playoff spot or a play-in tournament, and a win in the play-in tournament, a win in one playoff series. They're in. They are currently still in the mix. It's not that they're not out of it. So there's still another half of the season to go through. All right. So if the Lakers do those things, the Lakers can turn their season around. But people are going to have to wake up. LeBron, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook. I feel like Carmelo has adjusted. He knows that, look, I know I have to change a little bit, and I feel like Carmelo has been changing, okay? And when those guys are changing their roles, the others are going to change their roles as well. And they're already allowing Frank Vogel to actually coach this game, and he's starting to put in a starting lineup that could compete and contend as far as winning games. Now, it didn't show in the Indiana Pacers series, because let's just face facts. The Indiana Pacers are a more talented team than the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers have individuals. They have talented individuals, all right, that have demonstrated throughout their careers, all right? Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, despite what I feel and what I think, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James. Okay, these are names that they're not busts. They're not busts by any stretch of the imagination. Dwight Howard, these are names, guys. So yeah, they have superstars, but how that equates to having a team is different. I feel like they got beat, but the better team won. The Indiana Pacers won against against the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers is not a great team. They just got a few great individuals that had plush and luscious careers, okay? But that doesn't win you in the standings, okay? Ultimately, you have to have a great team to win basketball games, and the Los Angeles Lakers are not a great basketball team, but they're still in the mix and possibly in the mix to go into the postseason. Okay, if they don't continue to win, if they don't go into a 10-game losing streak, they're still in there, guys. So there is potential. So that's what they're going to have to do. If they're going to do it, I don't know. All right. But yeah, that's all I got to say on this. I really do appreciate everyone coming by. I really do appreciate everyone who watched the reruns of these live streams. I will see you guys on the next one. I will talk to you guys later. Deuces.